Yeah.
And like I understand.
I think they're not. It's subtle.
Yeah.
And I think Rand is definitely his old man. Rand and I have been pretty good friends for a long time, and to hang out with Rand is a lot of fun because he's so smart. But there are subtle differences. I think I'm probably closer to my dad than what Rand says, but I think Rand's probably as close to my dad as I am. But you know,
you just have to be more conservative to.
Rand's no dummy. He knew how to win that campaign, and that winning that campaign was to talk about the debt. To win in Texas, I probably already ruined my chances of winning in Texas by saying that I'm against all these wars. To win in Texas, I think it would be hard to do that. But if you just concentrated on the debt and talked about the debt all the time, you could possibly win in Texas. I think I would have a chance just because I'm honest. And I'm not going to pull punches. And that might get me in trouble in politics because I'm really honest to a fault, and I don't really, hold back. I tell people what I'm thinking. But as far as my dad and I think I'm probably pretty close. There might be, obviously, my dad says nobody's 100%. So I'm never going to say I'm 100%. So. Thank y'all for having me. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with your assertion that you won't win in Texas because you're not pro-war. I think Texas got a lot of. I served in the Navy. I think Texas got a lot of common sense, and you make great arguments.
Right.
Why not? One thing I don't hear a lot of candidates talk about, and haven't heard you mention yet, is a lot, not just the entitlements, but a lot of the bureaucracies.
Oh gosh.
Department of Education, something right here close to home at UNT. Health and Human Services. You're a doctor, housing, urban development.
Republicans wanted to get rid of the Department of Education 20 years ago. Now they don't talk about it.
And they just. But it seems like then you had President Bush with No Child Left Behind, and they just gave up. And do you think a platform for not just in Texas, but I think it suits Texas? Well, look at all the agencies where all they do is they tax Texas. The money goes, or any state, goes to Washington, D.C., it swirls around some washing machine, and we get a small portion of it back. Why don't we just get rid of all that and just keep it here? I talked about it in my talk. Rand said there's $100 billion unaccounted for. Right. But why do I want to send it all up there when we can take care of our education here in Texas? We don't need to send our money to Washington to take care of our education here. Why do you think, though, that no candidate, has that become the new third rail? I mean, we talk about Medicare and Social Security now, but we've given up.
Nobody talks about all those other ones. I don't know. But I would be for cutting as many of those as possible. Because the money needs to stay here. That's just, again, I'm not as good as my dad and my brother as being all the precise things, but it's simple. All the money there is corruption. All the money here and spread out amongst all of us is not corruption. We do what we would do with the money what we want. So that's the problem. Don't send it up there. And then they send it up there and then they send some of us back for education. It gets lost. And why send it back to us? Just let us keep it here. We don't need to send it to Washington for any reason except defense and defending our own liberties. We need to protect our liberties here. And that's what protect contracts and those things are supposed to be done. But we're not supposed to be, sending every little thing to Washington, and that's the problem. We've done that for too long. To stop it, though, I think all at once would be hard. So that's why you have to kind of probably stop it slowly over time. And that's why, again, my dad's right. You bring back the foreign aid, the foreign spending in wars, $1 trillion a year in war. We have to stop those things first, and then we slowly probably try to get rid of the entitlements here. But I think it would take a long time. I think if we stopped it all at once, I just don't think it would. I don't think it would go well. But I think we could save all the entitlements by stopping how much money we spend overseas. So,
I have a question. I was wondering if you could just tell us what it's like to grow up with Ron Paul. If you have any childhood memories or anything like that, I'm very interested in that.
I have. I've said this a lot. What you see on TV is really what you get. He is very.
What's Ron Paul?
Yeah.
Not really.
He is very. He's very studious. He's very. Believe it or not, I can't believe he's a politician because he's very quiet. He doesn't want to be the. If we have a party at the house, he is not the center of attention in the sense that he may go in the back room and read. He is the most Christian man I've ever met in my life. And yet, I don't know if we've ever sat down and talked about our faith at all. He and I would go to early church together, and I always like telling this story because this is just showing me his faith in the sense that we go to church at 8 o'clock in the morning, just he and I, and we might not say a word the whole time we're there. And you know, and just watching him live his life and how he does things and how he responds to people with a moral attitude about things and how he morally wants to help people. You know, we all got into medicine. My brother's a doctor, I'm a doctor, my sister's a doctor, I have 2 nieces in medical school. There is something to that. We want to help people. And I think that's what he's still doing. He's still trying to help us all. And I think that's part of his upbringing from his parents. He loves to exercise, so if you want to talk to him, the best thing to do is to go walking with him or ride a bike with him or something like that, because he's going to go. He doesn't sit still much. He always keeps going. He never pushed us to do anything. Never pushed me to do medicine, but he always was there to, you know, to support us. And you know, I remember once my mom does all the communicating. My dad never calls us hardly. If he calls, I'm always. If I show up on my phone that he's calling, I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I'm always concerned when he calls. But I remember once I was in medical school and I was having a pretty rough time and a lot of tests and I was tired and exhausted. I get this postcard in the mail, and it's got a witch doctor on the front. And Dad said something like, "Don't worry, there's always, you know, being a witch doctor." You know, so he likes humor, he likes to laugh. Our family's just fun to be around. There's just so many of us that it's always a party when we all get together. And so it's a lot of fun. Christmas, Thanksgiving. Mom's mad at me right now because I'm not going to make it for Easter, but Easter would be a great trip to go home this weekend and be there. I'm kind of hoping it'll rain real hard and rain out all my kids' sporting events this weekend. And I can take off for Lake Jackson and go see them. Michael?
I want to make a comment to that. I grew up down the street.
Oh, wow.
I'm 2 blocks. I'm more of a brother than a cousin.
Michael's like a brother to me. He is not a cousin. And I would have said the same thing in the intro. I have several brothers. My brother-in-laws and Michael are just like brothers to me, and he is definitely right. He grew up down the street. He and I have thrown a lot of footballs together. We both played quarterback in high school, and we pitched balls, and we studied plays, and we talked sports, and we talked politics, and we talked family.
Not only that, though, I mean, early campaigns, I remember having 30 or 40 family members in the living room down at your house, and we're licking envelopes and stuffing envelopes and knocking on doors and everything else. But one thing I want to say about the family, Randy, Robert, Uncle
Ronnie, Lori, Joy,
all of them. But those 3 are teachers. When you look at Robert and his patients come to him, he teaches them. When you go talk to Randy about politics, excuse me, Randy.
Yeah, I know. We have a hard time.
I've grown up.
He was Randy until he met Kelly. That's in the book.
Yeah.
This is a good book, by the way.
So, he's a teacher. You talk to Uncle Ron, and you just talk to him about stuff. He's a teacher. I was in MBA class, called him up, and had a 2-hour conversation with him just on economics for an economics project. And he's a teacher. And that's one of the things that I think they're doing when they're going around and talking, is they're teaching.
I think that comes from my grandmother too. She told me before she died, my dad's mom, told me before she died, I think she had an 8th grade education, maybe, Aunt Debbie, does that sound right? She didn't have a full education, but she said if she could have done anything in her life, she would have been a teacher. 2 of my dad's brothers are ministers, PhDs, or not a PhD, I don't know what it's called when you're a postgraduate work and becoming a minister. PhD in math is his other brother, and then my dad's an MD. Michael's dad's a CPA. They all have post-college somethings. And I think that was from my grandmother, because she said if I could have done anything in life, I would have loved to have been a teacher. And so maybe I've never thought of it that way, and that's probably the right attitude in the sense that I still do my teaching in medicine, and I'm not the politician yet to be able to teach people enough. But Rand can, and we should listen to him. And my dad's still going to, my grandparents lived into their 90s. My dad's going to teach us until he's in his 90s, I'm sure of it. So all we got to do is be out there and listen. He's ready to teach us. He's ready to, to tell everybody what we need to do. My dad he's got the right way to fix these things. I think if we listen, I always worry that if he gets elected to the presidency, are we too far gone and he can't fix things? And I don't know. That the answer may be we are. But I don't think anybody else has the ideas. I don't think anybody else can fix it. I don't think any of the other Republican candidates running can fix it. And I know none of the Democrats can. So we need somebody to win that at least has a chance of fixing it. And if we can't fix it, you guys are going to have to rebuild us. And that, when I'm pessimistic, that's what I think is going to happen. You guys are going to have to rebuild us when it all crumbles. And when it crumbles, it'll probably be the dollar that crumbles. So keep watching silver. It's $46 an ounce. Keep watching gold. It's $1,500 an ounce. That means the dollar's weak. So, yes, sir.
I'm also
okay. Good.
I'm also from Lake Jackson. I grew up right off Willow Drive, so
cool.
Ron rode his bike by my house like every day. So, but I'm just wondering a more specific question. Maybe it's not the best treatment for some of your patients who are going for weight loss, but what are your thoughts on medical marijuana?
I talked to I talked to people about this last time I was here at University of North Texas because it was a great question. I hate drugs. I hate all drugs. I think they should be all legal. And I hate them. I don't think prohibition works in drugs. Make it legal so my patients feel more comfortable coming to me and telling me they have problems with these things. I was around drugs all my lifetime growing up, in high school, college. I've never done any drugs other than alcohol, and I did tobacco too. Marijuana was available. I saw people do cocaine. I saw people do speed. I chose not to do them because of the way I was raised.
Well, no, I understand. And just to, to clarify the question, sure. I'm just talking about them. I know
medical marijuana,
legalizing all drugs. I know that's
number one is I think doctors should be allowed to prescribe marijuana for people. I think it's helpful. I definitely think there's some things that patients can't get any relief from, and the marijuana does give them some relief. I think we probably should give it to them better than smoking it, because I think smoking it is more toxic on your lungs than cigarettes. So it's a very, very toxic drug. So there's definitely a medical use of marijuana, without a doubt.
And when it comes to the liberty side of things, of just the definition of liberty being allowed to do what you want as long as it doesn't infringe on anyone else's rights, should we as Americans be allowed to use those things, even if you personally aren't for them?
Yes, I think we should. I think we should legalize them. And it's not giving a stamp of approval. Right. It's saying that people should be responsible for their own bodies. If you smoke marijuana and get in a car and kill somebody, I think you should go to jail for a long time, maybe forever.
Absolutely.
How many trillions of dollars have we spent on the war of drugs? And guess what? We still have a drug problem. It hasn't worked. Let's save that money. Let's save that money. Let's tell you're all responsible for your kids and make sure they don't do drugs. And if they do drugs, you're going to be responsible for it. If they hurt somebody, you're going to be responsible for it. And put the responsibility back on the people and not let government be the nanny state that takes care of every little thing. It's a hard issue, and I would have never ever been for legalization of drugs, except for that I heard my dad say it, because I know he hates drugs. He won't take Novocaine for dental appointments. I mean, he hates anything that's going to put in his body. It's our responsibility to take care of our bodies, and with the help of the doctors. I think doctors should be the ones helping us say, it's not a good idea that you're doing that. So, but medical marijuana, there's definitely reasons we should be using it. People that are just in horrible pain. There's definitely reasons that we should be able to ease people's pain. That's what doctors are supposed to do, is help ease people's pain. So let doctors make that decision along with their patients. I think that's a wise thing to do. So, all right. Thank y'all for having me.